Edgehell up in the tree, you press yourself against the trunk and do everything you can to make yourself blend in and not stand out. You notice the grouping of 5 spiders. They make it to the area where you guys turned off the road, and they kind of stop and they look around for a second. 2 of them continue back onto the road and move west, and they cut off into the tree line and you don't see them. There's a grouping of 3 that leave the road where you guys did, and they're very slowly, they've kind of, they're not all like right next to each other, they're like separated a little bit. One of them is coming directly towards the camp. The other 2 are kind of going sort of around as if they were going to try and flank something.
So again,
That's
sorry.
everything you can see, Edgehell, from up above.
So I see that 2 of them kept going, and then the other 3 are coming towards us.
So 2 continue on, 3 come towards you guys, 1 directly, and the other 2, they're kind of going like this. So they leave the path and go into the bush, but you can hear and see the grass and the shrubs that they're affecting as they kind of make a roundabout way towards you guys.
How fast are they moving?
You probably have about 15 seconds before they spot you if they haven't already. And by you, I actually mean everybody else. They don't see you up in the tree.
Do I have the attention of the group?
I say you have at least the attention of Cyrell. He's probably got everyone else paying attention to what you're doing.
Okay, so I start pointing at him. I start saying and saying like this is a spider, and then it's coming 1 from here and 2 from here. Like pointing basically at the, you know, like
so
like
he's trying to relay their positioning to you, Cyrell. So go ahead and make a perception check with advantage, using the information he's giving you to try and scope out very quickly what's going
on. 15.
15. Yeah, from what he says, you're able to spot the 1 spider that's coming towards you. That one's actually relatively easy to see. The other 2, it takes you a second, but you do notice off to the left, grass and shrubs being sort of affected by something, and off to the right, you see the same disturbance. What do you do?
Okay, I hold my fist up like this, and I point to Dala and Haley, and I point towards one of the spiders, and then I kind of bump the dwarf, and I point to the other spider, and I grab my shield and sword and start kind of slowly walking towards the other spider.
Okay. I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Yeah! Do this!
Yes. James. All right, give me 1 second. I will ask for your numbers in a moment. I just got to get my pencil ready.
Totally missed my dice tray, but we're good. I got it. Question. Yeah. So did we get full sleep? Are we back to full health, or what are we at?
Just barely. You guys were able to get a full night's rest, yeah.
Nice.
There's a range of hours, and I allow you guys to get it on the minimum. Just if you go several days of only getting 5 or 6 hours of sleep, you might take a point of exhaustion. So that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah. All right, 25 to 20. Okay.
I'm sorry. 25. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
20 to 15.
16.
All right, 15 to 10.
13. 14.
Oh, sorry, 17 on me. My bad.
And I got a 16.
John just gives up. He just flips his desk. He's done.
Sorry.
I was trying to figure out what you were saying. I'm like, what?
So let me start over then.
Okay, sorry.
Tyrell got a 16. Edgehell got a 16 as well.
Question. So I rolled a 17, but here in initiative it says 3. So do I add it up?
You add the 3 because you're adding your dexterity modifier to that.
Aye, 20 then. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
Let's try again. Okay.
That's
Oh my
so,
god.
All right, redo. Redo.
Oh yeah.
It's fine. Nebuchadnezzar, did you say 17?
I got a 16.
16. All right. So Nebuchadnezzar is at 16. Edrahel, which from now on is just Ed.
I
got
have
20.
17
All right, so that's
actually,
fine.
not 14.
Dala, you got 14?
17.
Oh, okay.
20 spiders just drop. You're all dead.
Haley.
13.
Rocks fall, everyone dies. 13, Haley? Okay. Let me just make sure that's everybody. So I got Edrahel. Roll for Wilhelm goes on your turn. That's fine. Sorry. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's everybody.
Yay!
You guys do not have a surprise round against the spiders. They definitely spotted you, and they were coming for you. Edrahel, you go first with your initiative. You're at the top of the round. Dala, you're up next. So keep that in mind, what you're going to do. Edrahel, what's up?
I wanna with my arrow. Oh, you said I just remember you told me to ask you what was the advantage of my iron arrows.
That you will find out when you use them.
I am
I
gonna
want
use
you to
one.
forget that you had them.
I am gonna use an iron arrow to attack the spider that's coming from the right.
Okay,
They still don't see me, right? They still don't know that I am there.
correct. You are the only one they do not see. So you are attacking the spider on the right. So go ahead and do your normal roll a d20, add your proficiency, add your dexterity. So roll a d20, add 5.
That's 25.
Nice.
Wait, you roll a natural 20?
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. So you're gonna fire one of the forged iron barbed arrows. There's about 30 of them, so I want you to keep track of how many you have. Okay.
Oh, I thought I had 30.
Yeah, you got 30. Yeah.
Okay.
So now you have 29. They are a D10 damage wise. So roll a D10, double it, and then add your dexterity modifier at 3.
Wow.
Yeah. On a crit, man. That's nice. Don't roll a 1. Did you roll a 1?
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right. Hey, at least you dealt 2 damage. Plus 3 is 5, so that's okay.
Okay,
as you knock this arrow, the iron barbed head is a lot heavier than you're used to. Elves typically make things with a lot more finesse. This one is a bit more rough. So your aim isn't perfect. You were kind of aiming for the meaty body of the spider, but instead the arrow fell a little short and ended up just sort of slamming into one of the legs of the spider. It lets out sort of a sound of pain. Respectable. Are you going to stay in your perch?
Yes.
Okay. Dala, you are up. Nebuchadnezzar, you're on deck.
Okay. Can I take out my short bow and shoot at one of them?
Yeah. So the only one that you can really see clearly is the one that's coming down the path towards you guys that Cyrell is headed for. So that's the spider kind of in the center. So yeah, you can definitely do that. So roll a d20, and it's your dexterity and your proficiency modifier that you'll add.
Great. Okay. 13.
13 hits. All right. So go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. 5.
Okay. 5s today. That's the common denominator. So are you gonna kind of stay back where you are and just keep using your bow for a bit, or would you like to move somewhere?
I'm like on the Because I'm not in the center where the spider's coming, right?
Correct. Yeah, you're kind of off to the side a little bit,
Uh,
back at the entrance of that little TP covering you guys have.
I want to move closer to the center.
Okay. All right. So you're going to kind of fall in line behind Cyrell, maybe about 10 feet back into his right. So he's here. You're kind of here. Spider's up there. All right. Nebuchadnezzar, you are up. Cyrell, you're in deck.
All right, so there's only one that we can see so far.
Easily, yes. Now, Edrahel and then Cyrell have kind of pointed out, and if you want, you can't see the other two spiders, but you can see where they are based on the disturbance of the surrounding foliage. You could charge into the bush towards one of those if you don't want to attack the one that's coming towards you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out my spear, point it straight ahead, and just straight into the bush.
That's a very good.
Into the bush. Okay, the spider on the left or the right?
Whichever one is the nearest to me, whichever one that Cyrell said to like point at for me. I don't care which
That
one
would
it
have
is.
been the left one.
Yep, then that's what I'm gonna go to. So.
Do it.
All righty, for my attack roll, I got a 16.
16 hits. Roll damage.
And that's a 5 as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay. 5 is the theme of the morning. So you grab out your spear. You let out a dwarven yell. What does it sound like, Nebuchadnezzar?
I already did it once, man.
I didn't do it again. It was great. You let out this growling yell. All of you kind of like just glance over at Nebuchadnezzar as he disappears into the bush, and suddenly you hear a as he slams the spear into the spider's
And I
side.
go, that wasn't me.
Your spear finding purchase in the side of the spider's body. As you pull your blade out, you notice it's the tip of the spear is covered in sort of this black, dark, very oily kind of blood. It's really gross, honestly. Cyrell, you're up.
Sure. So Cyril has his sword and shield out, and he was about to move forward, but he kind of notices Dala kind of coming towards behind him. So he kind of hesitates for a second. He takes a step back, so he's like within 15 or within 5 feet of Dala, so he can protect her, and he's going to ready an action. So he's assuming the spider's going to kind of charge him. So
Okay.
he's going to ready action to slice as soon as it's in range. And then he's going to yell, "Will, secure the horses!"
Okay. Will is going to check on the two horses that are closest to kind of what's going on. The ones that you and Nebuchadnezzar had tied up the previous night. And he's just going to make sure they're okay. They're definitely spooked by the spiders, and one of them was getting a little restless. Make an animal handling check for me.
He gets proficiency for animal still. Okay, 15.
15. He's able to kind of calm him down. Does take his action, so he doesn't fire his bow at any of the spiders. But he goes to those two, which are the two from the wagon, that he's able to calm down, and they're not trying to break free of their lead just yet. Unless you say otherwise, he will then check on Flicker and Onyx on your next turn. All right. Next up is the spider's turn. So the spider on the left is going to attack right for you, Nebuchadnezzar, because that's the one that you speared. With a 3, even with a modifier, it's definitely not going to hit. So it misses with its bite, and it is going to try and just kick you. 17.
That hits.
Cool. Does a whopping 2 points of bludgeoning damage as it kind of rears up and pushes 2 of its legs into you, kind of right into your gut area. The one in the center is definitely going to charge towards you, Cyrell. So as it gets in range, your triggered action will happen before it gets a chance to attack. So go ahead and do that.
Sounds good. Natural 1.
Okay. As the spider skitters towards you, you've kind of taken up this defensive posture. It's running for you. You bring up your sword and you go to drive it down into the back of the spider, but right as you do, it's a little bit faster than you expected, and it actually cuts right in between you and Dala, and you drive your blade into the ground, and it's stuck there right now. You're gonna have to use a bonus action on your next turn to attempt to pry it out of the ground. But the sword's about 6 inches into the earth. The spider, kind of getting on the other side of you, is going to attempt to bite you from behind. You will not get the AC bonus from the shield because you're distracted trying to get your sword out of the ground. 18.
Hits.
Okay. All right, you take 1 point of piercing damage and 73 points of no, and 1 point of poison damage. You are not poisoned, but you do take a point of poison damage.
Okay. So 2 points of damage
2
effectively.
points total, yes.
Okay.
1 point of piercing, 1 point of poison. The spider on the right-hand side is actually going to continue its run through the bushes, not really make itself known to the rest of the party. It's going to use its action to dash and begin climbing up the tree towards you, Edgerhel.
Okay.
It can't get all the way to you. That's the end of its turn. Haley, you're up next. Edgerhel, you're on deck.
Okay, so is there a tree nearby that has a low enough branch where I can like at least get some way up?
Make a perception check real quick.
Six.
6. You look around. You don't see anything right off the bat, and you don't want to just waste all your time being indecisive. So you look around. Nothing immediately stands out to you, and you move on.
Okay, so then I'll get my my short bow out and fire at the closest one that's in range.
Okay, that's going to be the one that Cyrell and Dala are kind of flanking right now. So go ahead and make your attack roll.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Okay,
There it is.
so double the dice, add your modifier, let me know what the damage is. Very cool. A lot of 20s in this campaign. I like it. Keep it up.
A lot of ones. I rolled 2 ones today. Oh!
That's 2. I mean, I love both of those, natural ones and natural 20s. They're the best.
So I don't add anything to that, right?
You're going to add your dexterity modifier to the damage
Okay.
after you double the dice.
11.
11. Okay.
Wow. Nice.
We broke the 5 streak, guys. Very cool. You pull back on the arrow, and you on the drawstring, you fire the arrow into that spider. It had just sunk its fangs into the back of Cyrell's right thigh. And as he kind of lets out a bit of a yelp in pain, he goes to like swat the spider away. As Cyrell, you're swatting towards the spider to sort of knock it off of you. Haley's arrow lands in the back of the spider, and as you swat at it, you actually swat the arrow that's sticking out of the spider that just hit it. And when you swat the arrow, it kind of makes this disgusting sort of cracking sound as it's like into the back of the spider's carapace, and it rolls over onto the ground and twitches, and its legs curl up and it dies.
Oh.
Wow. Good job.
All right, that spider is dead. Edgerhel, you're next. Dala, you're on deck.
All right. So.
You definitely do notice the spider crawling up the tree towards you.
Okay, that's good to know.
Just so you know. Yeah.
If I were to jump from the tree with my broadsword and attack the spider just like to gain an advantage from the fall, what kind of checks would I have to make?
Okay. I would say
Just fall, dude. Just fall with your sword out.
I would
Oh,
say
you have a little experience with that, don't you?
Oh.
It's true.
Oh.
you can make an athletics check, and if you succeed, you will I will increase the damage that you deal to the spider.
Okay, let's go.
All right, make an athletics check. Tell me what you get.
So athletics
So
check.
excited.
Of course, yeah. It's like woo! It's like I'm doing it myself. Athletics. Let's see.
Christina just shakes her head.
And that's a 19 for an
Oh,
athletic.
unfortunately, no. That definitely succeeds. Okay, so now go ahead and we're gonna call this an automatic hit because you're literally falling onto the spider with your sword. So the athletics check basically takes place of the roll to attack. So now I want you to roll damage. We're gonna call this an automatic crit. So double whatever you roll the dice.
Good
Please don't
job.
be a 1. Please don't be a 1 again.
The extra inertia from gravity's assistance here, because the spider was about 10 feet below you, so you're going a little bit quick.
One more question. Where was the arrow? Where did it pierce again?
Into one of its legs.
One of its legs. All right. Yeah, good to know. Cool. All right, let's see. That's a 4.
Okay, so 4 times 2.
No, that's a 2 times 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so 4 plus your strength modifier.
Oh, that's good to know. Strength modifier. I have a 0.
So 4. Okay.
That's good. I mean, it's respectable. It's a cool move.
It's going
Sure,
to
if anyone used the word
as
respectable.
the sword slices into the back of its body, it's going to make a strength saving throw to prevent being pried off of the tree. So you were 20 feet off the ground. It was 10 feet off the ground. So it was 10 feet between you and the spider. So it's going to make a strength save to try and cling onto the tree for dear life. It rolls a 3, so that's a failure. So as you fall past it, your sword is going to kind of act as like a lever that pries it off the tree and flings it away from the tree. So you're falling, sink into the spider, and as you do this, the sword kind of pries it off the tree and flicks the spider away. So it's going to take fall damage. It takes a d6 falling from 10 feet. That's 4. And it's gonna hit the ground, be a little disoriented on its turn. You're able to land on the ground, kind of a 3-point landing, superhero style, using the last of your sword to kind of help break your fall as you pry it into the ground, and you stand back up, and you've got a spider about 7 or 8 feet away from you. That is your turn, Edrahel. Dala, you're up. Nebuchadnezzar's on deck. You're muted, Dala.
Sorry.
Sure.
Am I close enough to take out, I think it's the warhammer and like hit the spider?
Yeah, the spider that was up with you in Cyrell's dead, but the one to the left that Nebuchadnezzar speared, you can make it there in 1 turn of movement. So yeah, you could pull out your warhammer and charge into the bush after Nebuchadnezzar.
All right.
Sorry,
All right.
how far am I? How far is the tree from the rest of the action?
15 feet.
All right.
All right, so Dala, you pull out your warhammer and you charge into the bush after Nebuchadnezzar and the other spider. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
You got a warhammer. Nice.
Yeah.
19.
Nice.
Okay, very cool. That hits. Roll damage.
Do that die 10. You know what I'm saying? Do that 2-handed smackaroni.
Macaroni.
The best kind.
Macaroni and cheese.
Every day.
That's how we live.
All right, Dala, how much damage did you deal?
7.
7. Very
Nice.
nice. All right. So Nebuchadnezzar, right after you kind of jab your spear into the side of the spider and you pull it out, you're kind of readying up. You see that it's kind of rearing up, about to attack you. And as you kind of take a step back to sort of plant yourself so you can't get knocked over, you just hear Dala come with a warhammer and come by, and she actually smashes one of the legs of the spider clean off, shearing it off of its body. Dala, that's your turn. It was a great turn. Nebuchadnezzar, you're up next. Cyrell, you're on deck.
So I just kind of I kind of looked at her with like a hearty laugh, and then I twirl the spear around and I try to jam it right in the spider's head.
Okay. At this point, I'll say you guys are flanking it, so you have advantage on your attack.
All right. So I got a 16.
That hits. Roll damage.
And then I did 7 damage this time.
Nice.
All right. You twirl it around, you bring it down on top of the spider, and you crush it completely. stealing the life from its corpse as it twitches and its legs just curl up inside and it dies.
Wow.
It's really sad. Spider had a family, bro.
And I turn to Dala and I go, I just wish I was half the man that you were. and that's my turn.
Cyrell, your turn.
I hear the dwarf say that. I look back and just shake my head. Bonus action, I'm going to try to pull my sword out of the ground.
Strength check.
What was that?
Strength check.
Okay.
Excalibur.
And just falls on the ground.
5.
5.
Yeah.
So it takes longer than you want it, and it ends up taking your whole action, but you are able to get the sword out of the ground. But all you can do...
Blasted sword. And then I'm going to run up, and I'm going to try to... If I flank with Ed, am I still considered within 5 feet of Ed?
Yes. Yeah, the
Okay.
spider's not like a massive creature, so you'd still be within 5 feet of Edgerhell as well.
Okay, so like you see me frustrated trying to get the sword out of the ground. Finally, I pull out. And I'm like, blast it, sword! And then I like start booking over, and I have my shield and sword ready, and I'm flanking with Ed, so hopefully I can help him out.
Okay, good strategic decision. It is now the spider's turn. The only one that is alive is the one between you and Edgerhell. It's going to kind of look between the two of you, and it's going to kick off of Edgerhell first. See if it can land that kick with a 12. I don't think that hits you, Edgerhell.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. So it's going to try and go to kick, and it wanted to kind of push off of you. But you definitely kind of turn away, and it loses its footing, and it kind of tumbles a little bit, losing the momentum that it was looking for. But nevertheless, it recovers, and it moves over, and it goes to bite Cyrell with an 8. Obviously doesn't hit Cyrell. No one's AC is that low. And it goes to bite you, but you, having bit once already by one of these things, are keeping an eye out on its fangs. And as it sort of bars its fangs up and tries to sink into your thigh again, you bring the shield and the sword, and you kind of parry its fangs away. And you actually lop one of the fangs off, and it recoils in pain as you defend yourself. That is a spider's turn. Haley, you're up. Edgerhell, you're on deck.
Okay. Since I couldn't find a tree, is there like a rock or a higher ground that I can get on, so just so I'm not like the same height as the...
You're in it's not just a clearing. There's definitely rocks or small things that you can climb up. You can get a couple feet off the ground pretty easily.
Okay, that'll be my movement, I guess.
Okay, so you end up climbing up some of the sort of the twisted trunks of trees that had formed that teepee-like structure. It's not just straight vertical, right? It's really conical. So you're able to climb 3 or 4 feet up the side of that, which is going to be considered difficult terrain, vertical movement. So you do use all of your movement to get to and then climb about 5 feet up the side of that sort of canopy.
Okay, and I'm gonna shoot the spider.
Sure. So from there, you can actually see, over some of the bush and shrub and foliage that it's in with Ed and Cyrell. So roll to attack. Now everyone knows that we have Catan and Legos on one of our bookshelves.
Mystery
15.
15 hits. And Civilization.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with this camera, guys. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Okay, so 15 hits. I roll. Nice. 8.
Oh, wow. That might be the most single damage anyone's done in this battle.
Well, I did 11 earlier.
Yeah.
do 11.
Haley's like, I did the most, Theo. That's right. Why Cyrell is over there flopping on the ground with his sword.
As you look over, it tried to kick Edgerhell, and he moved off to the side. It kind of hit the ground awkwardly, and in trying to recover, it springs forward to bite Cyrell, who parries it. slicing off one of the fangs. It recoils in pain, and as it does, it kind of lifts up off the ground like a huntsman spider, really just like with its two legs on the ground and everything else. It's trying to make itself look big and scary and posing. What it instead accomplishes is becoming an easier target for someone of your bow skill. As you fire off, it slams right into just the central carapace of the spider as it rears up towards Cyrell again. Slamming it backwards, it kind of tumbles a couple times, rolling backwards before it makes its final landing on the ground and begins to curl up dead. Good shot.
Whew,
Good job, King.
I'm exhausted. Man, I could already use second breakfast.
Good
Someone
job,
didn't lose any hit points.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna hold up my hand to Agdala. I'm gonna expect the high five. The question is, will I get it?
I'll do like the
Oh, fancy.
okay.
Getting fancy.
So she'll miss the first one, and as you kind of give up sad, she comes back with that under
Bam.
high five, which
Do you
really is a cooler high five.
Do you do like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Do you like snap at the end?
And then we just like both do it at the same time. We walk back to camp.
There you go.
Good job, guys. Cyrell cleans off his blade, although there's not much gunk on it because he didn't really hit anything. Good job, guys. Don't forget to try to get your arrows. Everyone else safe?
While
You
they're
broke one of them.
Sorry.
while they're doing that, I'm gonna actually approach the spider. Some that are dead. I want to try to recover the fangs and the poison glands.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Etrahel and Haley, the 3 arrows that you fired are all recoverable if you would like to make sleight of hand checks to try and remove them. None
Even
of them were destroyed when they hit. What was that, Haley?
One of mine was bent by Cyrell.
When he went to smack the spider, he smacked the shaft of the arrow, and the arrow it caused it to cut into the spider more. Like if you were to put a sword into someone and then pull it down at an angle, it didn't actually hurt the arrow. The arrow just destroyed more of the spider's carapace.
Do I make a sleight of hand check for both?
Just one, because you're not in a rush. So one overall. What'd you get, Ed?
Oh, I was waiting. I was listening to everything you guys say.
Awesome. Good, Haley. You
15.
just don't have to wait. Just tell me what you get. Yeah, okay. 15's good, so you're able to recover both your arrows just fine.
I have a 11.
11, that's good enough. So you're able to take a moment, very gingerly, you pull out just like a dagger. You kind of cut a couple, stab a little bit into and around the arrow to try and remove any resistance with those barbs as you pull the arrow out, and you're able to retrieve it and clean it off, and you regain that arrow in your quiver, so you still have 30. Nebuchadnezzar, there are 5 recoverable things, because one of the things was lanced off by Cyrell. And then there's also the venom sacs you were saying that you wanted. There are 1 per spider. There is 1 per spider, so there's 3 sacs. Are any of you going to join in or help him retrieve those or notice what he's doing? Or Neb, is that just you, my friend?
I want to help.
I'll go.
All right. So what I'll do is that for you, Gabe, then I'll point over to the one that you killed, and then you, Dala, can have the one that we're at, and then I'll get another one.
Okay. So Gabe, you're at the spider on the right that only has 1 fang left. Dala, you've got 2 fangs and a sack to retrieve. Nebuchadnezzar, the same for you with the one in the center. So let's just go left to right. Dala, go ahead and make. It's probably going to be a sleight of hand check. There's no other really good dexterity-based manual check for it. Actually,
Could a nature check
I
help?
was going to say a nature or medicine could work.
But survival work, at least for like the fangs, to kind of cut
Maybe.
those off.
Yeah, do. 1 second. I'm just checking if any of the new skills with Adventures in Middle Earth would be good, but I don't think so. No, because the shadow lore is more lore. It's not. You know, I would say medicine, nature, and survival. All three of those could benefit you. So you can pick one of those to use.
All right. Medicine.
Okay. So go ahead and make 3 medicine checks. Nebuchadnezzar, which of the skills are you going to use?
Survival.
All right, so make 3 of those. And Edrahel, which one are you going to use?
Survival.
All right, you get 2. We're going to go Fang, Venom Sack, just so you guys know.
Okay. So I got a 13, a 18, and a 16.
Okay, you retrieve 1 Fang and the Venom Sack intact.
Okay.
The other Fang, sacrificial lamb to the slaughter. As you mangle that one, you're able to better see how to remove the other Fang and the Venom Sack. Dala, what'd you get?
12, 11, and 13.
Okay. You're not able to retrieve either of the Fangs, unfortunately, but you are able to pull out the Venom Sack in its entirety. Edrahel?
10 and 14.
Okay. The first Fang, you're not really able to get it out there, so it looks like you guys only recovered in total 1 Fang, but you are able to retrieve the Venom Sack intact. So you have 1 Mirkwood Spider Fang and 3 Mirkwood Spider Venom Sacks.
And how long is this fang?
The Fang is about 3 inches long, slightly curved, not overly so, but slightly.
Huh. What about...
While they're doing that, I'm gonna real fast check on Will, make sure the horses are okay, and then ask Will to help me check the area, just to make sure we're safe and that no other spiders are coming at us. When Will's around, he helps me with both insight and perception checks. So.
Yeah, you're able to spot him. At this point, he had made his way over to Onyx and Flicker, and they were both doing well. They're not super accustomed to adventuring. It's still rather new for all of you, but they did seem to keep their calm a little bit better than the 2 wagon horses did. And they're both pretty chill. So go ahead and make a perception check with advantage and kind of see if there are any other spiders in the area.